The FIRE movement. How to retire in your 30s. Imagine waking up at 35 and realizing you never have to work for a paycheck again. No alarm clock. No waiting for weekends. No counting down the years until retirement. Your investments can cover your living expenses, and working becomes a choice rather than a necessity. That's the idea behind the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. But FIRE isn't about getting rich overnight, and you don't necessarily need a massive salary to pursue it. It's about changing one simple equation: how much you earn, how much you spend, and what you do with the difference. So, how does it actually work? And could you realistically retire decades earlier than most people? Let's break it down step by step. If you want to master the rules of financial freedom and navigate your way out of the 9-to-5 grind, consider subscribing to the Retirement Compass. We chart the path so you can enjoy the destination. The first thing to understand is that FIRE isn't really about retirement. It's about financial independence. Financial independence means reaching a point where your investments can potentially support your lifestyle without depending on a regular paycheck. Some people who reach FIRE stop working completely. Others start businesses, travel, work part-time, or continue their careers simply because they enjoy them. The important part is having the choice. So how much money would you actually need? This is where the famous 4% rule comes in. A common FIRE calculation starts by taking your annual expenses and multiplying them by 25. If you spend $40,000 per year, for example, your approximate FIRE number would be $1 million. The basic idea is that withdrawing around 4% of that portfolio in the first year and adjusting later withdrawals for inflation may provide a starting framework for funding retirement. But the 4% rule is a guideline, not a guarantee. Market performance, taxes, inflation, retirement length, and unexpected expenses can all change the outcome. Still, the calculation reveals something incredibly important. Your FIRE number isn't determined only by how much you earn. It's heavily influenced by how much you spend. And that brings us to step 1, now where your money is going. Track your spending for a month and separate essential expenses from spending that adds little value to your life. You may discover unused subscriptions, frequent impulse purchases, expensive debt, or lifestyle costs that have quietly grown over time. The objective isn't to eliminate everything enjoyable. It's to spend intentionally, because lowering your annual expenses can have 2 benefits. You have more money available to invest today, and you may need a smaller portfolio to support your lifestyle later. Step 2 is increasing your savings rate. Traditional retirement planning often involves investing a relatively small percentage of each paycheck for several decades. FIRE followers tend to be much more aggressive. Instead of focusing only on cutting costs, many work on both sides of the equation. They reduce unnecessary spending while increasing income through promotions, new skills, freelancing, businesses, or other opportunities. The key is avoiding lifestyle inflation. If your income increases by $500 a month and your spending immediately increases by $500, you've made almost no progress towards financial independence. But if you invest most of that increase, you've accelerated the journey. Step 3 is putting those savings to work. Simply accumulating cash may not be enough for a retirement that could last several decades, because inflation gradually reduces purchasing power. That's why long-term investing is central to FIRE. Many followers favor diversified, low-cost investments rather than trying to predict which individual company will become the next market winner. The objective is not to get rich from one lucky investment. It's to invest consistently and allow compound growth to work over time. Your investments can generate returns, And those returns can potentially generate additional returns. The earlier that process begins, the more time compounding has to work. Planning for the future can be overwhelming, but you don't have to navigate it alone. If you're finding value in this breakdown so far, hit the like button. It helps this compass reach more people looking for financial direction. Step 4 is dealing with debt. High-interest debt can work like compound growth in reverse. Instead of your money generating returns for you, interest charges continuously pull money away from your future. That's why eliminating expensive consumer debt is often an important priority before aggressively pursuing FIRE. Once those payments disappear, that money can potentially be redirected towards savings and investments. Step 5 is automating the process. Financial independence usually isn't built through one brilliant decision. It's built through hundreds of boring decisions made consistently. Automating savings and investments can make that much easier. When income arrives, a predetermined amount can automatically move toward your financial goals before you have the opportunity to spend it. Over time, the process becomes part of your normal financial life, but FIRE has risks too. Retiring at 35 could mean funding 50 years or more without a traditional salary. Markets can crash, inflation can rise, healthcare can become expensive, taxes can change. Your lifestyle may change after marriage, children, relocation, or unexpected family responsibilities. And this is why blindly reaching a number and immediately quitting your job can be dangerous. A strong FIRE plan needs flexibility. That might mean maintaining an emergency reserve, using a more conservative withdrawal strategy, diversifying investments, or earning occasional income after leaving full-time work. There are also different versions of FIRE. Lean FIRE focuses on reaching independence with relatively low expenses. Fat FIRE targets a larger portfolio to support higher spending. And Coast FIRE involves investing enough early that, given sufficient time and investment growth, you may eventually reach traditional retirement without continuing to save as aggressively. You don't have to follow any version perfectly. You can borrow the principles that fit your life. And that's perhaps the most valuable lesson from FIRE. You don't actually have to retire in your 30s for the strategy to improve your life. Imagine being 40 and having enough invested to survive several years without a paycheck. You could leave a job you hate, take a career break, start a business, travel, spend more time with your family, or simply sleep better, knowing that one unexpected event won't destroy your finances. That's financial independence. Retirement is only one thing you can do with it. So if you want to begin, don't start by asking how you can save $1 million. Start smaller. Calculate your annual expenses. Estimate your FIRE number. Eliminate high-interest debt. Increase your savings rate. Invest consistently. Increase your income when possible. And resist the temptation to upgrade your lifestyle every time your earnings rise. You don't need to transform your finances tomorrow. You need to build a system you can maintain for years. Because FIRE isn't really about escaping work. It's about buying back control of your time. And whether you reach that point at 35, 45, or 55, every step toward financial independence gives you something valuable, more options, more security, and ultimately, more control over how you spend your life. The journey to a secure retirement starts with a single calculated step. Which of these strategies surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching The Retirement Compass. Subscribe to stay on course, and we'll see you in the next breakdown.